Well, it's definitely been an interesting week, I will say that. Um, I'm constantly kicked off Facebook. Whenever I get on Facebook, all I really ever do is speak red pill stuff and spread red pill stuff. And boy, do I get attacked, man. I'm having a pretty good conversation with one of my subscribers, kind of talking about female nature and the history of marriage and things like that. It's a really interesting conversation. Men are getting educated, man. We are getting educated. And I appreciate it. I appreciate the education. I appreciate the time. But also, something within me is also kind of sad because it's like, you know, the fact that female nature gets exposed for what it is, the fact that the only way we'll be able to really, you know, live with women personally, like as a individual relationships that we will have. Guys who listen to my channel, red pill guys, MGTOW guys, probably most of us will struggle, continue to struggle for the rest of our lives with this concept of real love or real solid relationships and things like that because we know the truth. You know, it's an interesting thing that the film The Matrix has been such a metaphorical, you know. Source for us because it's such a truthful thing. I remember I think I was 17 when I first watched The Matrix, and it was actually right around the time it first came out. It was about 1999, I believe. And even at that time, that film changed me. Just watching that film, it changed me because it was such a kind of a spiritual eye opener. It's like, yeah, this world is so fake, and everything we're taught and told is a lie. And as you get older and you go through YouTube videos and you watch how this system is really systematized to fool us. It really is set up and manufactured to manipulate us psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually. There's a album by a group named Jedi Mind Tricks. It's a rap group that I followed, in my 20s. They have their first album is called The Psychosocial and Physical Manipulation of Humankind or something like that. It's an insane title. But you can Google that, called Jedi Mind Tricks, and such a crazy title because it's so true. It's like they're manipulating us on every level: social, financial. We're wage labor slaves, right? Even physical. We're being manipulated. They're putting toxins in our food. We're not being educated on how to eat correctly to stay healthy, and it's just from top to bottom, we are being manipulated, and we are being systematically, I would say, poisoned from a myriad of different angles. And I take a spiritual path because I was born in church, and many people think the Bible is a tool of control, and it cucks people and things like that. I don't look at it like that. I do think that there is some, how do I put it? There is some acquiescing from the reader if he accepts the messages. You have to sort of follow God, which is a sort of quote unquote beta thing to do. Cuck yourself and lose your soul life and lose certain things like that. And it's a tough one. It really is a tough. It's something that I've struggled with a lot in my life, my adult life. This choice to lose everything in order to gain something in the next life, in order to gain. But I will say this: that when you do have a relationship with God, I personally believe there is some very, very tangible benefits to specifically to your soul. I think to go in this world, to live in this world outside of that connection can be extremely daunting and very draining, and it can be very detrimental and damaging to our very soul. And we see it every day. We see homeless people, we see people on drugs, we see people just in chaos, in internal chaos, because they don't have love, or they don't have an anchor, they don't have anything to keep them, um, to keep them from going insane, because there's so much in this system that is specifically systematized to damage us. Like I said, whether it's our food, they got fluoride and chlorine and chemicals in the water that we're drinking that literally turn frogs gay, that make men, effeminate. I see, I'm on Facebook a lot, and I see these men. I'm starting to see these transgender people pop up. I'm starting to see these homosexual, constantly people popping up, and it's like it's more and more the last 5-10 years than I ever saw it. And it's like, this world is going down, man. This world is heading to a decline, and it's a sharp decline. And we saw it in the Super Bowl. We saw, these witches, and they're literally witches. I would recommend anybody who's listening to go and watch this channel on YouTube called A Call for an Uprising. It's this guy. He's a conspiracy theorist, but everything he says is so true. And he made a video about the Super Bowl halftime show, and he was talking. He was showing all the signs and everything they did, which was literally satanic ritual. And these women, J Lo, Shakira, Madonna, Rihanna, Beyonce, etc. They're literally witches. And that sounds crazy. Like, what are you talking about, man? You're a conspiracy theorist. That's wacky. Woo, woo, woo. But you can watch videos that literally prove it. You can watch videos that show what these women are doing in detail. This is how they're dressed. This is what these wicked practices, and it's nuts, man. And this is attached and involved with feminism, right? And us red pill guys in the red pill community, we're always talking about, oh, feminism is so bad, feminism, but we don't really talk that much about what's the source of feminism. It has a source in witchcraft, man. This stuff is satanic. They're uplifting women, and they're manipulating the psychosocial subconscious of women to hate men, and to turn against men, and to become lesbians, and to attack men. And I go on Facebook, and I see these just nasty women, man. I don't know if you guys have ever watched that Aliens. Back in the 80s, they put out this series called Aliens. If you're an older guy like me, you probably know what I'm talking about, the film Aliens. And there was like this matriarchal alien society where there was this queen, and these aliens were like all protecting the queen, and like they have this venom that they spit, and it comes out of their mouth, and it's like acidic venom. And this is what these women are like, man. I mean, they're so just nasty. And it's not even just like, oh, you're just a jerk, you're a bad girl or whatever. It's like sick nasty. Like, these women, they would kill you if they had a chance. They would celebrate if you committed suicide. That's how much they hate men. And the reason why I know this is because I'll go into groups, and not necessarily even feminist groups. I mean, 100% not feminist groups. Like, I follow feminist groups, and I follow feminist pages and things like that. So because just like the great Don Corleone said in the Godfather series, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer, right? So I follow these feminist pages, and I know what they're talking about, and I know how they hate men, and I know the kind of nasty, crazy lies that they tell. And that's I'm having this conversation with this guy about, one of my subscribers, and we're talking about how female nature is just so nasty, and it's so vitriolic, and it's so evil. And I see it. I go to these groups, and I see it, and I'll share something of the red pill. I'll share about how men are getting thrown under the bus in divorce court. I'll share about how women are lying about false rape accusations. I'll share content about, the disparity between how men and women are treated, and real sexism where men are being thrown under the bus statistically. I'll share stuff like that. And it's the truth. It's the unvarnished truth. What these feminist groups talk about is is lies mostly. It's arguments based on emotion, right? And this PC culture bullshit and all this. You can go to their, you can check out their pages, and it's just not. A lot of it is nonsense. A lot of it is an emotional drivel, and occasionally they'll have occasionally they'll have a point in a post that they make, but most of it's just nonsense. Um, and It's sickening. It's like, what is wrong with these people? Like, who raised these people? And I think it's just a whole generation that is lost. We have a whole generation that's just lost. We have a whole generation of young people, millennials, that have just been damaged and brainwashed and manipulated by things like feminism and communism and you know social Marxism and socialism and all this crazy shit. And what it really is against is it's against the nuclear family. And the reason why is because the nuclear family is a representative and a sort of honor to God. Because when there is a normal man woman family, man woman with kids, that is how God wanted it to be. That's how God intended it. But see, there's a devil on this earth, and he's using these institutions such as feminism and communism and social Marxism and liberalism and this progressive, PC culture. He's using that to attack the traditional wholesome values and the traditional roles, and to attack men. Why? Because man is the representative of God. The Bible says that man was created in God's image. It doesn't say that woman was created in God's image. It says that man was created in God's image. So God created man first, and then from the man, from his rib, he took and created the woman. This is all in Genesis. So the woman is not the leader. She's not the first. She's not even made in God's image. The woman is taken out of man. So that's something that's interesting and telling. Another thing that's interesting and telling is that the woman was the one who went to the serpent. She was the one who got coerced into eating the bad fruit that ruined humanity, right? And that's all in Genesis chapter 3. And the devil didn't go to the man; he went to the woman. And this is what's happening today. The devil is leading these women off, and you can see it online. These vitriolic, angry, nasty women. And this is what we talk about. This is what we. In the red pill, this is what we experience, and this is our generation.